Alright, bro. Joe. And again, it's killed. A video by Moon. Theo Von tried to warn you. And Yahoo Light, who probably eats kids, sacrifices them, eats their throats and shit, and allegedly, in my opinion, come kill me about it. And Jeffrey Epstein in the thumbnail with his head cut off, just like how he did with a bunch of other kids, allegedly, in my opinion. Let's watch. Oh my, shut up.
Paranoia is starting to consume Theo Von.
This is tough.
And it's getting worse because of this.
I woke up to a text from a high government official saying, hey, if
Yahoo.
you need some extra security in your neighborhood or some extra police cars on patrol, let me know. What? What are you talking about? You're just gonna put police cars in my neighborhood? What are my neighbors gonna think? You know, Dad had me start to get kind of paranoid, and, you know, I had the curtains in my house kind of closed. I was just like, you know, you're paranoid.
See, Theo's realized he's become a target, and the pressure and paranoia from this got so bad that after his recent comedy show bombed, he said something alarming.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life.
And all of this resulted in this tense moment on the Joe Rogan
Yo, that's
show.
fucking crazy. And why does he look... I'm sounding schizo now, but why does he look like he's been cloned?
All of this resulted in this tense moment.
Why does he look like he's been
on the Joe
cloned?
Rogan show.
Maybe it's plastic surgery. I haven't seen this guy in a long time, to be honest. So maybe I'm just a bit retarded like Alex Jones.
I'm kind of retarded.
Well, wow, bro. Wow. I'm trying not to kill myself.
How much longer does
I love my life.
Israel let us stay alive, do you think? That's the big question.
Why were they...
What did you say? Is that AI?
What are you saying?
That's Sora?
What are you saying?
I didn't say anything.
What are you saying?
Joe Rogan looked genuinely concerned for Theo Von and was clearly uncomfortable about this whole situation. Theo goes on to explain this feeling, and that's when he reveals that this is something way bigger than you'd expect.
It feels like some people in the world, like some dark and powerful people, know what's going on and they're not telling the rest of us. I don't know if I'm the only person that's feeling that. I feel like they all know something that's happening. It always feels like there's something bigger and eviler, the pinnacle of the horn of whatever creature that is, kind of.
Antichrist. The Antichrist, bro. It's that simple. You see all this crazy shit going on, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Wait till you see the fucking Antichrist. We're not gonna have no fucking clue. There's clearly somebody running this shit. Alright? There's somebody where... I mean, look at the South Park episode. Trump in bed with Satan, and, you know, he's sucking Netanyahu off, pulling out his chair.
Or yeah, I don't know, something like that. But I don't know, it used to feel like things were safe.
Turn to Jesus, and that's true freedom.
Somehow.
See, when you look at the people Theo Von talks to, the most powerful
Oh shit, he does have motion.
people in the world, you instantly
shit.
realize how intense this situation has become.
Oh,
He's
shit.
getting exposed to the elite's secrets that carry a huge burden. And with what we've recently learned about what the elites do behind closed doors, one can only assume that Theo Von knows far more than anyone could ever guess.
He looks like... I don't want to say this, but he does look like... He's fearful for his life. Look how much he's thinking about what he has to say. You don't ponder that much on the truth unless you know something bad can happen from it.
I would never take my own life. I would
And there you go.
never take my own life. It was just like a lot of threats, and then it felt like nothing was safe. It compounded on my head like, oh, nothing's safe. I feel like they're doing a lot of bookkeeping in the country right now because we're going to get into a surveillance state, and
It's already happened, buddy. This phone's watching me.
everyone is going to have to be on the books. And then my mom was visiting, and we went to the doctor. She's like, I have something for you. I was like, huh? But then I go outside, and I was sitting in my car. My mom was out there with me, and then I look up out of the window, and there was some young man literally this far from my window with his phone, filming me. And it was just that was like a tough time where I think I just got kind of paranoid.
Bro, Epstein is not my boss. Alright, you're a Mossad agent. Fuck out of here. Shut up!
Jim Brewer is a legit working comedian who's been around for decades, and he sat down with Theo Von where he described the true nature of the entertainment industry.
This industry...
I don't know if you guys have seen that David Chappelle interview, I believe. It's funny because the comedians always get attacked because you have to use truth in order to be funny, you know? Like, the funniest thing is the most honest thing. And they call it, I believe they tried slandering Dave Chappelle and calling him crazy. And maybe I'm mistaken, but I do remember where there was like an interview where he probably took it too far and in the show and was saying a bunch of shit. And he said that whoever they is, they basically break into your house. You don't even have a clue. You wake up the next day, and it's things that only you can notice. But if you say something, you sound insane. For example, let's say I'm talking about the child eating satanic billionaires on the thousands of islands that are on this earth. I go to turn on the TV, boop, shit's not working. I check the batteries, and they're flipped a certain way. They're flipped in the way where I can't turn them on like this, or both the positives are facing up. Like that's shit that'll make you think that you're going insane. And if you say that to someone, they're gonna be like, psh, maybe you just put them in wrong. Psh, things that only you can know, and things that only you will notice. It's like, fuck, bro. It fucks with your head, and that's just what I heard. I don't know if it's Dave Chappelle. Okay, maybe I'm mistaken. This happened in the Theo Von watch, and that's why he's extra paranoid. Somebody flipped his batteries in his TV remote.
I'll slice your throat, I'll dance in your blood, and then videotape it and make money off it.
Yeah.
And it's traumatizing is the best word to use it. It lures you in and going, no, I'm here for you. I'm gonna give you some honesty and compassion. And then when you're not looking at I fell for it again. As time went on at Hollywood, I realized it's soulless.
Yeah. You look to think at some point this thing has to have a heart or some compassion, and it never turns that.
Jim describes the entertainment industry as a war he barely survived, something Theo Von is all too familiar with, going on to explain how Hollywood is rigged.
There's always this thing like if you don't...
It's crazy because it's all of this is coming out nowadays, and nowadays if you say this, we're like, yeah, that's true. But if you said this 5 years ago, you're crazy. Let's watch.
There's like a validation, this invisible validation. It's this Hollywood thing. It's like, oh, if I don't, I could be selling tickets, but if I'm not on the Tonight Show, man, I don't have that, I haven't been licked by the goose or something,
Theo is hinting at something pulling the strings from behind the curtains, building a system that is corrupt to the core.
But there's always this dangle of a
Carrot.
Yeah, and it's a carrot, and I don't even know what it is because, like,
It's vanity.
Is vanity?
Vanity.
Is it?
You know you want this.
Right.
You know you want this. You're better than so-and-so. You know you're better than
Have you ever seen The Devil's Advocate? It displays vanity perfectly, especially towards the end of the film. It's a good watch. It's low-key an underrated film. Anything with Al Pacino in it, for the most part, is good. Check video reactions on board, bro. Dude, build your attention span. This is 5 minutes, bro. I've been in this for 5 minutes. Ooh, I'm bored, I'm gay, I'm bored.
so-and-so.
Trying to watch some conspiracy theories, buddy. Let me watch some. This is a conspiracy theory video.
It'll be worth this. Yeah. And then your road will be worth
Let's
this.
watch Ben
Then
Shapiro.
Jim just calls it what it is.
Hollywood's a mafia. It's a big, dark mafia.
Yeah, it is.
And then what happens is the mobsters come. They're like, we understand. Not mobsters like Italian.
Right.
Whatever,
You're talking
whatever
about
gang you want to
the
call
attorneys,
it,
yeah.
right? And they come along like, listen, you sign this, you do some movies there, we'll put this all on the table, we got enough money to make this go away. No one ever brings it up. No one ever brings
Holy shit, listen to
Get
this.
off my screen, you
Okay, I'm
filthy
sorry,
whore! Shut up!
it.
Crazy.
And there's 2 or 3 of them. Huge.
And one of Theo's next guests will go on to name these people.
Of course.
See, Cat Williams has made big predictions over the years that keep coming true. Like on Shannon Sharp's show in January 2024 when Cat Williams said this about Diddy.
All lies will be exposed, that's all.
He gave Theo an inside view confirming that
crazy.
sexual compromise, political leverage, and institutional cover-ups are just how the game works. You can hear it land on Theo differently than the usual podcast banter.
I was as shocked as anybody about how powerful Harvey Weinstein was at the time that I was meeting with him, how he could not
Harvey
be...
Weinstein, if their name ends in Steam, bro, you gotta be careful, bro. I tapped in with everybody. Alright? And you know what? Speaking of, this is why you gotta support niche creators like Juksu. Alright? I'm not gonna go suck some Hollywood executive off. I have morals. I'm not gonna eat a child. I'll never ever kill myself. This is why you gotta support small creators. Small creators are the goats. The top ones are the ones. And they're turning the freaking frogs gay! This is why you gotta support niche creators.
told no. that he get
I'm not part of
whatever
the
he
deep state,
wants.
bro.
So I
I'm in the shallowest state of all time. I live in a small town, bro.
thought that didn't apply to me because I don't care about nothing but bitches and good business, right? And then he offered me 2 actresses like they was playing cards. And I was like, what?
That's fucking crazy.
Kat has been talking about this kind of thing for years. He was right about Diddy, and he was right about Weinstein, which he discussed with Theo Von. And Kat keeps going, talking about how Hollywood runs in patterns, a revolving door where conformity is enforced.
A ritual is something that you do over and over and over again a certain way. If part of the ritual is wearing a dress, then we should be able to look through entertainment and see all of these people being made to wear a dress. That's what a ritual is. Whether they're
John
white
Cena.
or black, that doesn't matter. There's not other jobs where
LeBron
this
James
is a
in his maid
requirement.
suit.
Theo Von then asks about the dark forces in Hollywood.
You know, I've heard you kind of allude to the fact that there's like kind of darker forces that kind of like present opportunities to people in trade-off, right?
You guys have ever been to Hollywood? There is this weird energy, bro. You can like smell the thousands of missing kids that go missing every year. Probably from, you know, you can smell the blood in the air, bro. It's a weird feeling in Hollywood. I don't know if you guys have ever been, bro. It's weird. Feel like some hand is on your shoulder, and you turn around, there's nothing.
Right? In trade for their own.
Maybe that's
their
just
own
me.
peace,
Maybe
their
I'm just
own
schizo.
reality, maybe a
Hats off my
sacrifice of
feet.
their actual direction that they want. Do you think that really happens, that kind of stuff?
I think everything is controlled and regulated.
You think there's ever ways where we can get to the control room and see who's controlling, or you think that's all?
We're past that. We don't protect the whistleblower. We don't honor the scout that would tell us who it is. Matter of fact, when they get him, we're gonna go, oh, I could have told you that was gonna happen. They're telling too much truth.
That description that they're telling too much truth is well documented. Think about everyone the industry has smothered or gagged, from Mel Gibson to Courtney Love and Rose McGowan.
You know, I had a whole bunch of
What about Kanye
weird
West?
paranoid suspicions
What about
what
Kanye
the hell
West?
was going on, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be. A whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill. And it's like that.
Throughout this conversation, given that Kat has made himself pretty vulnerable, Theo was clearly thinking about whether any of his own stances are putting him at
That's
risk.
crazy.
Check
I
out
don't
these
no,
next
I don't have
questions.
adrenaline.
Did you start to worry any about your own safety and stuff? Because it seemed like you really had some moments where you're kind of, you know, almost channeling truths into. Have you ever faced that in your own life where people try to come at you for offers like that? Do you think that like stars get offered that kind of thing, like to compromise themselves sexually for entertainment?
Again,
It's always like that. Same thing with the modeling industry. If you ever, I've known a couple models before who didn't become top models because they didn't want to compromise themselves. There's parties afterwards. Even I knew a guy who was a hairstylist for some, I can't say whose, but somebody's show, and there was parties afterwards that they would always throw. All of the dudes were gay. If you weren't gay and you didn't want to go, they would call you homophobic and drop you off the list, bro, just because you didn't want to participate. Right? With the modeling industry, in order to build your portfolio, you have to be easy to work with, which means you have to be willing to put on a dress, to put on a bra. If you're a guy, if you're a straight guy, they don't care. Sorry, some gay guy. Here, can you try this on? Can you try this on? Oh, you don't want to put it on? That's fine. That's fine. Write down a notepad right here. Difficult to work with. It's gonna be hard to get gigs. Same thing with any entertainment
things that we are
industry.
discussing
Anywhere up there, bro.
exist.
Which is why you should support niche creators like myself. I've never been to an island. I don't plan on going to an island. I'm thousands of miles away from Hollywood and all these weird cities.
In each
I'm just a guy in his room, living with his parents at 22. You think that's me?
of the fields, not entertainment exclusively, politics, religion, science, everywhere, right? Some of this is human nature.
But Kat isn't just diagnosing the problem and telling the truth. He's now building something sealed off from it because decentralizing away from Hollywood might be the only way forward.
Oh, okay. I want to donate, but I'm sorry, not today.
He bought Fort McClellan, a former military base in Alabama, 3 million square feet across 90 acres to be his own studio.
I just needed to be able to have a home where great movies and entertainment product could be made without any of the shenanigans that are generally involved with Hollywood. That all it needs to do is be good. If it's good, we're gonna make it.
Okay, but Jim's a mid-tier comedian and Kat's a self-described outsider. You could dismiss them if you wanted to, but Ben Affleck is a AAA actor at the epicenter of where this all goes down. And his longest interview of 2025, not 60 Minutes, not the New York Times, it was Theo Von, who hadn't even seen the movie Affleck was there to promote. You can hear the moment it dawns on Affleck that he can actually speak up in this podcast, especially since the media had been blasting him for being contrived and shut off.
So wait, so who is the accountant? You can't tell us.
No, it's me, right? I'm this guy's accountant, and he kind of was, trained
I've
us.
seen this movie.
You've seen the first movie, right? This is the second. You saw the first one. Me and John came out like 8 years ago.
Because Theo accidentally ripped away the PR scaffolding and prepared talking points, Affleck opened up, and what he had to say was a huge surprise.
Like the currency of like fame in and of itself.
Bro, I am not. I hail Jesus, buddy. Hail Jesus. I wish I could show you my pendant, but I read 2 pages of this every day. You think I'm gonna be tapped in with that piece of shit Moloch? Nah, I step on Moloch's neck. I step on his fucking neck, curb stomp that piece of shit. You fucking kidding me? Fuck Moloch, bro.
Self as a desirable
fucking
thing.
guy, dude.
Like people go, man, I want to be rich and famous. Like
that's El Rage Bay, bro.
Take rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Famous is
Take rich.
Not gonna make you happy. I think a lot of times what happens if it doesn't come with a real sense of like achievement or accomplishment, it actually feels hollow
That's
and
the
empty
Bible,
and like bullshit and like and undeserved. There's things I don't love about this business, a lot of them. It can make you kind of crazy.
Then he pulled Britney Spears into it as a case study, a real example of how the celebrity destruction machine works in practice. Yep. Follow somebody, antagonize them, and then sell the footage of them falling apart.
The idea is like follow somebody around, antagonize them, and then hopefully they'll have like a nervous breakdown and go crazy on you, and then your video will be worth more money.
Yeah,
I really had a lot of empathy for Britney Spears because I remember that it seemed like the cycle of having people harangue you and yell at you and hassle you and follow you, it kind of seemed like that itself was kind of whipping up the whole thing into a tizzy. So that's the first time I thought this is kind of a weird kind of unintentional, I think culturally, but kind of collective cruelty where what's taken out of the image that you see are the people around, waving the stick at the tiger or poking on it or whatever.
Throwing tomatoes
and
at
all
it.
You see is the growling animal or whatever it is.
Many prolific public meltdowns make sense through that lens. The media shows you someone unraveling, but crops out the people poking them with sticks to force it to happen. Because, well, obviously that's the drama that sells stories. He pushes on, discussing what lies behind Hollywood's glamorous veneer with a pretty beautiful metaphor.
Because the acting in the creation, it's like looking at the beauty of a lake, right? It's like, this is picturesque, and this is like how they meant the waves to look, and there's a current here, and there's an inflow and outflow, but then it's all this stuff under it, and it's almost starting to like kind of drain its own lake in a way.
It's a good metaphor, yeah. Like if you overtax it, it lowers the lake, and all of a sudden it doesn't look like a beautiful lake. It starts to look like the low country marsh, and it pulls down. You start to see all the little black mud around the edges and the muck. And
that's a man at the very top of the industry describing Hollywood as basically a swamp, and he admits that being exposed to it takes its toll on anyone.
You know what I mean? Yeah, dude, I'm always trapped inside of myself. I have a crowd inside of me right now.
There's a crowd in my head is busy enough.
I got 30 people in here, and we're out of hors d'oeuvres.
From Batman to the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix is one of the most media-hostile actors alive. He barely does interviews, so the fact that he even showed up on Theo's show in July 2025 is already a statement. The top comment even says it. I don't know if people understand how incredibly rare it is to get Joaquin Phoenix to do an interview, let alone an hour-long interview. This is phenomenal. But what makes this extraordinary is why he came. He came because of something Theo said. Theo had spoken publicly about the war in Gaza and it scared him. He admitted as much when Phoenix asked. In fact, as you might already know, this is a big reason why Von's paranoia has intensified lately. He's also alluded to Charlie Kirk's assassination multiple times, suggesting that certain agendas are worth more than human life.
When you did that, if that made you nervous doing it, or...
Yeah, I think I felt scared.
Yeah, well, it was courageous and it was meaningful, and I think it matters. And straight up, I'm really here today because I was so moved by what you said, and just like the courage to do that.
One of the most decorated actors of his generation sat down with a comedian because the comedian did something most won't do. He spoke without permission.
It's shocking. Like
speak truth even if your voice shakes. That's my fucking motto. I wish I had my phone to show you. That's my fucking motto. Speak truth even if your voice shakes. If you're scared, speak the truth.
Maybe
it's gonna feel good anyways. Oh, I guess I can show you this. Look, that's my fucking motto, bro. Are you kidding me? Well, it's kind of on this. This is just the prototype, right? I know it's polyester. Yeah. Freedom starts with a sentence. You guys hear the double entendre right there? Freedom starts with a sentence. How do you get thrown in jail? By a sentence. And look, my boy drew this, by the way. This is not AI. Right here on the tongue, it says speak with spirit. The mouth attached to the wings represents freedom of speech. When you can fly, you can do anything. You can go anywhere, right? You can say, that's what the, watch, bro. At 10,000 subs, I'm dropping the merch line. So get me the fucking 10K. This is why you gotta support niche creators, buddy.
We're afraid to talk about it. And oftentimes you're made to feel like you're stupid because you don't understand geopolitics. You kind of go like, well, I don't have to understand geopolitics. Like,
design is great. I know.
Human rights.
I came up with it.
I'm grateful to be able to be in a place today and in a country where we can still say something, you know, and it's not mandated by some other power. And who knows if that's coming soon or what.
That is coming soon. Once you lose the right to once you lose the right to say one word, you lose the right to say all.
It's happening.
So at some point,
we already have digital censorship, digital anti-freedom of speech. We already seeing on the internet. The internet is more real than reality nowadays. People are on the phones more than they are in real life. So we're getting there. I hate to be that guy, bro, but let's just be honest, bro. Let's just be honest.
Point though, you have to ask how Theo Von even landed himself in all of these conversations in the first place, as the list is incredibly prestigious for someone who hasn't been in the podcast game that long. He's talked to Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, RFK Jr., JD Vance. These aren't normal comedy guests anymore, but people who want to get in front of the non-legacy media. And there's been some candid moments like when Theo told Vance to outright release the Epstein list, which came back to bite him later on when nothing changed. Now compare Theo to someone like Rogan. Rogan's been doing this for over a decade. He's got a team and experience on when to push back, and Theo doesn't have any of that. Someone had casually handed Theo a phone while he was messing around. A woman said her friend had been deported and asked if he had anything to say. Theo then just said bye as a joke. And so the Department of Homeland Security used
Rogan sucks, bro. Who do you watch, dude? Who do you watch? Rogan has good stuff. I don't watch him no more, though. I think at some point you just start hearing deer hunting, monkeys on shrooms too much, and then you're like, all right, I learned what I could. I really only watch Rogan for his guests, you know. Rogan sucks, bro. Yeah, dude. Who do you watch, bro? You watch Al Universal, bro. Who the fuck is that?
In an official deportation hype video, framing it like an endorsement.
And I was like,
I'm so different. I watch creative podcasts.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm clowning around. I have no idea if it's real or not. I have no idea.
You have no idea. It's literally someone just handed you a phone, and then the Homeland Security, was that what it was?
Yeah, just put it up online. Then I was like super scared.
Theo Von had to hire an attorney to get it taken down, and it took 48 hours, by which point the damage was done, and most people never even found out it was removed. This undoubtedly fueled his ongoing existential crisis.
I feel like all of these balls of yarn that used to feel like they made so much sense, and they kept us warm and they gave us sense of purpose, I feel like all of them are becoming unraveled, but it makes me wonder what's going to happen now, because these are a lot of things that have felt like some of the blueprints of our existence.
That tells us a lot, the unraveling of the stories and narratives that once protected people. And carrying all of that on his shoulders, he sits down with one person who can explain why all of it connects. Robert Greene is the guy who wrote The 48 Laws of Power, a book so effective at explaining how manipulation works that it's been banned in multiple prisons. Greene kicked off with a critique of Hollywood. He'd been inside the beast coming from LA himself, with the industry trying to make movies out of his own books, and what he found within the industry disgusted him.
And what angered me about Hollywood, you know, people pretending to be these liberal, wonderful people in favor of all the best causes out there to create art. What bullshit. They wanted power. They loved having the power over people. Producers and directors loved the power they had over actresses, etc., etc.
Strip away the award shows, the charity galas, the social justice statements, and what's left is people who love having power over other people. Theo then tells him a story of walking through Century City Mall, bumping into a construction worker who says they're building a 20-story building, half for a talent agency and half for the CIA. He said exactly the same thing to Joe Rogan. And Robert Greene knows what's up, but he doesn't laugh it off.
And he's like, dude, guess what we're building? I'm like, I don't know. You know, I thought maybe it could have been like a Hardee's or something. He's like, we're building like a 20-story building, and 10 floors of it are the CIA, and the other 10 floors are a Hollywood management company.
Theo was actually mixing up the CIA and CAA, Creative Artists Agency, but the mix-up is almost funnier than any deliberate joke because of how close it lands to the truth.
I was with CAA, and they were trying to make movies out of my books. And you go to that building, and they call it like the Death Star. There are like, politicians who are being represented by CAA, athletes, tech bros, influencers. It's pretty frightening though when you go inside. It's like all these people, everyone's like wearing a suit. It's almost like Scientology, Hollywood's version of Scientology.
With the fucking Freemason thing, and they're doing their symbols.
Green doesn't stop at Hollywood. He draws
and they got red shoes, if you know,
the line that connects entertainment and technology to politics. All of it's running on the same operating system, and he names names.
But the technology people, they've read all of the books on marketing, psychology, Mark Zuckerberg. They figured the whole thing out.
Yeah.
They know how to move us around like little puppets on a string. Being inside the belly of the beast, so to speak, it's really all about money. I mean, there's so much money involved and at stake. That's really the motor that drives everything in Hollywood. People may pretend it's about creating art or supporting this cause or that cause. But when you bring it all down, it's about making money. They would drop the woke stuff tomorrow if they could make more money doing something else. It's
Facts,
just
bro.
about
Do you guys see
what's
how,
going to bring the buck.
You guys see how like the LGBT stuff, the LGBT ABC, whatever, has been losing popularity, like in June specifically? I think last year no company put rainbow stuff in their thing, which really goes to show that it's all about money. Why? Because it was losing popularity. People were seeing through the bullshit. People were like, we know you're just stunted. The next year they dropped it, money didn't drop.
Out how to
and send a pic of your desk when you're done.
To apply Hollywood's playbook, the seduction, the dependency, the manufactured desire at a scale unimaginable a generation ago. For Theo sitting across from Green, this is the moment where all the individual stories he's been absorbing start to click into something much bigger, and he gets an opportunity to talk to the very powerful figures Green names as the puppet masters who have us all on a string. Speaking of which, Mark Zuckerberg himself went on Theo's show in April 2025.
Why is he drippy all of a sudden? What the fuck?
Filmed at the Meta campus in Silicon Valley, it was widely seen as a PR rehabilitation attempt, and it's one of the strangest pieces of media produced this decade. As Theo asks him what should be a soft opener, Zuckerberg's answer manages to be both self-deprecating and accidentally revealing.
Have you ever felt socially awkward over your years?
No, I'm really smooth. no, obviously. Yes. Yeah, I'm like the most awkward person. People have been calling me a robot online for 20 years. It does wonders for my confidence.
Credit where it's due, the guy can take a joke, but Theo has always pushed one step further.
You seem like a guy who probably watched a video of how to be a guy on YouTube or something, but I think
I haven't found those environments yet, but maybe.
And then it got genuinely revealing. Theo mentions offhand that he'd build an underground tunnel if he were a billionaire. Zuckerberg confirmed he has one, like he was talking about a garden shed.
I would have an underground tunnel, even that it came right back up next to where it started.
I do have an underground tunnel.
USA?
Well, I have this ranch in Kauai.
He tried to walk it back immediately, but that ship had sailed.
Zucky got that bunky.
That became one of the biggest viral moments of the year. The man who
Zucky got that bunky. I wonder what the fuck he does in there, bro. I wonder what he does in there.
The platform that connects 3 billion people is building himself a hideout somewhere underground.
You drink coffee, man, or no?
Nah.
It used to be kind of that somebody who was really straight edge and sober, that was a nerdy thing, I think. Now that's almost the most insane thing you can do. Wait, you're under the influence of nothing.
Nothing.
From sun up to sundown, you're a fucking animal,
There's something almost clinical about that level of control in a person who controls the information diet of half the planet. And then we get to the end point of this whole progression, and it had to be one of the most unsettling things Theo's ever sat through. I'm talking about Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. Honestly, putting him next to Zuckerberg shows how similar they really are. He said this about his 4-month-old son.
Why does he look fake, bro?
My kid will never ever be smarter than an AI. That will never happen. They'll never know a world where products and services aren't way smarter than them and super capable.
The man building the AI is saying matter-of-factly that his own child will never be as intelligent as what he's building. He's not upset, he's not wrestling with it, he's stating it bluntly like it's a weather forecast. Then he compared what he's doing to the most famous what have we done moment in human history, and he chose the comparison himself, nobody prompted it.
There are these moments in the history of science where you have a group of scientists look at their creation and just say, what have we done? Maybe the most iconic example is thinking about the scientists working on the Manhattan Project in 1945, sitting there watching the Trinity test, and it was a completely new, not human scale kind of power, and everyone knew it was going to reshape the world. I do think people working on AI have that feeling in a very deep way.
He used the atomic bomb as his analogy, and then he moved.
That's a crazy analogy. Atomic bomb to some AI. But it's inevitable. It's inevitable, bro. What can you do? What can you do?
Moved on, like he didn't fully register what he just implied about his own work. Theo, to his credit, kept pushing with simple, honest questions, and Altman kept answering in ways that were somehow simultaneously reassuring, terrifying, and out of touch.
I was testing our new model. I got emailed a question that I didn't quite understand, and I put it in the model, this GPT-5, and it answered it perfectly. And I really kind of sat back in my chair, and I was just like, oh man, here it is moment. I felt like useless relative to the AI in this thing.
The CEO of the company felt useless relative to his own product, and he thinks it's awesome that he's building his own replacement. When Theo asked the simple, honest question, are you scared? Altman at least had the decency to be honest about it.
Dang, dude, I can't tell if I'm excited or scared. Maybe I'm both, and maybe that's all the same
It has
thing.
to be both. I don't think anyone could honestly look at the trajectory humanity is on and not feel both excited and scared.
And then, because this is Theo, the bunker came up again. Because apparently every tech billionaire has one now.
Zucky has a bunkie, I know that, somewhere out in Hawaii.
Of course, Hawaii. That's like in the middle of nowhere, bro. You know how far Hawaii is from the mainland? Let's watch it tomorrow. Dude, you can't handle 2 more minutes? Bro, fix your fucking brain. You need W, Mr. Beast, scroll, wow, gold to buy chocolate, wow, matcha, give me all this koi sop for my brain. My touch is bad, I can't handle 2 more minutes of this, I'm gay, Israel, send 5 billion to Israel. Shut up, bro. Shut up. What the fuck you mean this is making you fall asleep? Damn, bro.
Do you have a bunker?
I have like underground, concrete, heavy reinforced basements, but
Why? Why do you have a bunker? That can mean 2 things. You're either eating kids down there, allegedly, in my opinion, or somebody's gonna fucking set a nuke off, and you already got the word of it in advance.
I don't have anything I would call it.
Hold on, dude. I am gonna call that out as a dang bunker, dude. Sam, that's a bunker.
Theo honestly captured the whole dynamic in 2 sentences that
Watch
no
Fallout,
journalist
bro.
would ever think to phrase this way.
You're this charming kind of Terminator. You're like, come with me through the universe. And you're like, people are like, well, what's it like? And you're like, I don't know exactly, but, and then it's like we're all going.
And Altman's
That's a good
response was
analogy.
maybe the
Yeah,
most honest
he's good
thing
at
any tech
analogies.
CEO has said publicly. No spin, no reassurance.
When I was a kid, I assumed that there were always some adults in the room. Someone had a plan, but no one has all the answers. No one knows where it's all going to go. I'm the guy in the room, and I have some guesses, and I have some plans, and we're working really hard.
The man supposedly building superintelligence is merely stumbling through it, with a bunker, and a baby who will never be smarter than what dad's building. So bring it back to the beginning.
It feels like some people in the world, like some dark and powerful people, know what's going on, and they're not telling the rest of us.
Is Theo paranoid, or has he just been paying attention?
Look at
he
his
started
hands.
podcasting because
Look at his hands.
Is Theo
He's jumping, he's twiddling his fingers.
So paranoid, or has he just been paying attention? He started podcasting because he never had a voice. He found one. Then he heard from the horse's mouth what most people only read about secondhand.
But yeah, that was scary, man. Because then I got because there was just like a lot of threats, and then things got then it was just kind of that made me kind of paranoid.
And the uncomfortable part is everything that's eating Theo alive, the paranoia, the sleeplessness, the feeling that the blueprints are unraveling, that didn't come from conspiracy forums or Reddit threads. We can all empathize with that, especially when so-called conspiracies from Weinstein to Epstein keep revealing themselves layer by layer, without ever amounting to the entire truth, and that's probably how it'll always stay. It came from the people themselves, sitting across from him, on camera, saying it out loud for him and everyone else to see.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, bro. Theo Von tried to warn us. Try to warn us about the unknown and the scaries of the world, all the possible things that control our lives. We're in the prison planet. We are controlled by our fear. We are controlled by our energy because we're distributing it in the wrong fucking way. You put all your hatred here. You put all your love here. Hail Jesus, buddy. Ask her who she for when she say Jesus. Yeah, Jesus.